At just 24 years old, Ozil had already created more than 150 goals, 150 sparks of imagination, 150 times he saw what no one else could. While others played football, Ozil painted on grass. For comparison, Iniesta, who played almost 1,000 matches, managed 192 assists. Ozil reached that pace in less than 300. Even Iniesta once said, "No one in the world understands football better than Ozil." Fans called him a mix of Figo and Zidane. At Arsenal, they sang, "You just don't understand. He's our sans man. He's better than Zidane." He could have ended his career with over 400 assists, numbers that only Messi could dream of. But instead, his story became something far greater, a story of identity, belonging, and what happens when genius meets a world that refuses to understand it. Ozil was born in Germany, but not from the kind of Germany that shows up on postcards. His family were Turkish immigrants, brought in generations earlier to fill factories and build cities. They called them Gastarbeiter, guest workers. But Ozil was born there. He wasn't a guest. He was home. Still, he never felt like he belonged. At school, he barely spoke. He was shy, quiet. Teachers even worried something might be wrong. But when a ball touched his feet, everything changed. He spoke fluently in the language of football. He wasn't German in style. He played with rhythm, flair, and lightness. In a country that prized order, Ozil brought chaos, beautiful chaos. One match, his team won 12-0. Ozil scored 10. The rival coach walked over and said, "Next time, please leave the Turkish kid at home." Funny thing though, Ozil was born in Germany, but players like Klose or Podolski, born in Poland, were never called the Polish kids. It's subtle, but that's how it starts. That's how you make a boy question where he belongs. 16 years. That's how long it took for Ozil to get German citizenship. 16 years to be recognized by the country he was born in. It only happened when football made him valuable, when his magic could be sold. Only then Germany decided he was one of them. He joined Schalke's academy and immediately stood out. Joachim Löw, Germany's coach at the time, called him a gift from heaven. But after just a year and a half, Schalke broke their promises to him. He left, angry, disappointed, for Werder Bremen. And there, he exploded. He dominated the Bundesliga, helped Bremen reach the German Cup final, and scored the winning goal that gave them their only trophy in nearly 2 decades. By 21, Ozil was unstoppable. He was Europe's assist king. And when the 2010 World Cup came around, he didn't just play, he danced. South Africa, the world stage. Ozil was Germany's heartbeat, man of the match in the opener, a stunning goal against Ghana, assists against England and Argentina. Philip Lahm said, "It isn't easy to fill Balak's boots, but Ozil proved he's one of the best in the world." Even Klose said, "People talk about Messi, Ronaldo, Kaká, but Ozil is as good as any of them." And when he came home, Real Madrid were waiting. When Real calls, there's no decision to make. Madrid was paradise for a creator. 29 assists in his first season, more than anyone in Europe. He became the engine behind Ronaldo's record-breaking years. Ronaldo said, "Ozil's departure is bad news for me. No one understands my movement." Like him, Mourinho said, "Ozil is unique. There isn't even a bad copy of him. He was magic, pure football. But genius is fragile, and Madrid can be ruthless. Rumors, fights, Bale's arrival, new politics, and just like that, Ozil was gone. Sold to Arsenal 30 minutes before the window closed. When he landed in London, it was like the city had just won the Champions League. Fans flooded the streets, singing his name, and on the pitch, he delivered. Assists came easy, trophies returned, football looked beautiful again. He became the fastest player to reach 50 assists in Premier League history. But behind that smile, the cracks were forming. Injuries, media pressure, endless criticism. They called him lazy. They said he didn't care. When Germany crashed out of the 2018 World Cup, they blamed Ozil for everything. He'd had enough. He released a statement that shook the world. "In their eyes, I am German when we win, but an immigrant when we lose." And with that, he retired from the national team. Back at Arsenal, things got worse. Wenger left. Emery arrived. Ozil was frozen out, mocked, blamed, humiliated. Then the pandemic hit. Every player took a pay cut, except Ozil. He refused, but not because he was greedy, because he asked where the money was going, and the club refused to answer. They called him selfish, a villain again. And when Arsenal fired their mascot, Gunnersaurus, to save costs, Ozil stepped in and said, "Don't worry, I'll pay his salary myself." Then came the final blow. Ozil spoke out against China's treatment of Uyghur Muslims. Immediately, China banned Arsenal games. And Arsenal, the club he had fought for, chose silence. The man who once made football more human was now treated like a liability. In 2021, Arsenal didn't even register him for competitions. Their highest paid player erased. He left quietly for Fenerbahçe, his boyhood dream. But the magic never returned. Injuries, conflict, disappointment. He played 7 matches for his final club, Başakşehir, And then one message appeared on his socials. It's time to leave the big stage. No ceremony, no farewell, just silence. Ozil's story isn't about trophies. It's about belonging. It's about how a man could make millions love the game, yet never truly feel loved by the game itself. He never screamed to be noticed. He never fought the noise. He just created beauty. Again and again, even when the world didn't deserve it. He could slice open a defense with one glance, make 10 players disappear with one touch, and remind us football was once an art form. Maybe the world wasn't ready for him. Maybe Ozil belonged to another time, a time when football was about joy, not agendas. He was never built for the noise. He was built for the silence after beauty, and that is the tragedy and the brilliance of Ozil. If you love stories like this, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to EuroGoalZone.